Hey guys, I'm sitting in the parking lot outside my local big box retailer because I got this coupon in the mail for a free Colors of the World product from Crayola. Well, up to $5 value, so it's more like a $5 off coupon. We're gonna run inside and see if they've got the 24 pack in stock so I can grab one. Here's what's got me curious. How does this range of 24 colors that Crayola's come up with stack up against like one of the more progressive beauty brands like Fenty, where they've got the Fenty 40, all of these foundation shades that are supposed to be more inclusive of different skin tones? It is freaking cold out. All right, so they actually have a 32 pack, but some of the colors are for coloring eyes and hair, which is cool. Here are some of the color names. They've also got markers and colored pencils. That's actually tempting. I'm gonna go with the crayons. Try to find a box that's like not dented. Beautiful, we got it. The weird thing was it cost less than $5, but I still had to pay 13 cents. Ugh. Guess that's what it's like relying on coupons, right? I mean, God, this is late capitalism for you. Man, I'm still chewing on that coupon thing. So the lady had to come and put in an employee ID number for it to accept my coupon. I guess there's enough people abusing the system, or they're worried about people abusing the system. You sent me the coupon in the mail. I'm not trying to cheat the store. I'm just trying to buy some crayons, man. All right, let's crack this thing open. So I guess the first thing is going to be to separate out all the eye colors and hair colors and then turn them around because, you know, they're not made for left-handed people. So to read them, they got to face this way. Let's see if I can get them sorted into some kind of systematic order here. So if I look at the color names, they've got kind of three sets. They've got the golden set, which is what I'm collecting and organizing right now. I guess that's more like olive skin tones. Then they've got the rose set, which are kind of more pinkish. And the darker ones in that set even have kind of more of a, almost a purple or a blue undertone, I guess. At least that's how they look to me. And then the middle set, which I'm working on here, are called almond. And one thing I noticed about these is that they actually give you a wider range of those. They go darker and lighter. Okay, so my next goal is to get these kind of organized in a way that I can photograph them. Using this tape was probably not the best idea, but then I found a big binder clip. I've got them in natural daylight, and I'm going to throw that picture into this program called the Artist's Helper. Now it kind of samples all of the pixels in the image and it plots them into the color space here. So the center is white, gray, black. So the further from the center a color is, the more intense it is. I'm actually going to try to grab a sort of average color for each of these by sampling them with these squares I'm drawing. And that will allow me to more clearly visualize. Okay, let's try that again. To more clearly visualize how these colors relate. Here we go. So this is interesting. If we rotate this, you can see that all these colors are systematically forming a curve through RGB color space. But maybe I want to actually look at that in a perceptually even, or at least a more perceptually even color space. I'm going to switch over to C-Lab. You can see that that RGB cube is actually kind of warped. This is more accurate to how we see the differences between colors. And so we've got this little wedge that is covered by all these different skin tones. And gee, that's interesting. I mean, it's kind of more random and scattered than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a little more systematic. Like I thought we'd be able to see the rose tones and the golden tones and the almond tones kind of like lining up into lines. But I'm really not seeing that here. Like the lightest tone, or actually the tone that is furthest toward yellow, is actually the lightest almond tone. which is weird. It's, you know, you'd think that the lightest golden one would be further toward yellow. And then here we've got rose ebony, which is not the darkest, and Tuscan red, which is also not that. Those are supposed to be the rose tones, so that makes sense, but they're kind of not in the right order in terms of intensity. And here we have something called dark puce, which is the darkest of the almond tones, forming that corner of the gamut, so that makes sense. So my original plan was to check these crayons against like the Fenty 40, but then I found this article on Twindly that she took the Pantone swatches for skin tones and she actually compared them to a range of different foundation lines. You can see Fenty's doing pretty good. Kylie Cosmetics is also doing pretty good in terms of its spread. Some of the other brands not so much, but the Pantone is on the bottom, right? And both Fenty and Kylie have a wider range. So, I mean, let's check our crayons against Pantone, because that seems to be the standard to judge these things against, I guess. You know how I was griping about having to pay 13 cents for the crayons? Look what they're going to charge me on Pantone for these for this set of skin tone swatches. Nah, it's cool. Some guy named Vladimir Kurstich put the hex codes in Figma, so I got them here. So I've added them to the color space, and interesting. I'm going to rotate this here. Yeah, you can kind of see that there's this systematicness I was talking about. That I was kind of expecting in the crayon colors, but didn't see. I mean, a lot of what you're seeing is pixels that are from JPEG compression and anti-aliasing and stuff, right? All those white tones are around those little swatches. But, I mean, the important thing here is the colors themselves, the range of hue and of saturation are both significantly tighter, smaller than what's covered by the crayon swatches in the color space here, right? You can see those deeper pink tones and those deeper almond tones. I mean, they're all going further into territory not covered by the Pantone swatches. I mean, we'll take Vladimir's interpretation of Pantone with a grain of salt here. Of course, it's probably not 100% accurate, but I think Crayola wins on this one. Okay, so where does that leave us on the colors of the world set from Crayola? I think in terms of like coverage, in terms of the gamut or the extent of colors that are included, it's great. It's on par with the more progressive foundation sets like Fenty Beauty. But in terms of like the sampling within that space, it seems kind of random and all over the place. So I don't really know what methodology they used to decide like the differences between light, extra light, or like dark, medium. It doesn't seem to have any logical order to it. Here's a final thought. You know, if the goal is to almost like symbolize every different skin tone as a color in a set, right? It's got symbolic importance, this thing. If you want a kid in a kindergarten classroom to feel included, right, to find their skin tone, I think this will do a good job of that. From an art teacher point of view, I feel like there's a missed opportunity here a little bit. Say you want to model all the planes of the face. Say you want to capture the range of tones in somebody's skin. You might be able to do that somewhat with this set, but it's not really going to help us do that. So I feel like we need like a grown-up version of this where it's the primary colors of skin tone. Like, what would the colors on the corners of that gamut be that we could blend in either paint or colored pencil or something, like, because crayons don't blend really well. That's the graduated version of this. So maybe that's an idea. Maybe that's something we think about pursuing or developing or pitching. Anyway, thanks for coming on this weird little rabbit hole trip with me, doing a little, quick and dirty color theory analysis in the car with me today. If you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button.